Good morning, everyone. It's 11:09 on the clock, which is the reflection of 9/11. And I didn't plan that either. So let's go ahead and start this. I had an amazing message this morning. I did the reads yesterday, and after reading a few messages that I'd laid out for myself last night, I was guided to go back and take a new perspective at some of the information from the read. And wow, did some profound messages come through. So you're going to like this one. Let's go ahead first and take a deep breath. Sending lots of love and blessings out to everybody. The mother is coming through very strongly right now. Okay, I'm going to show you the pictures of the reads first. For those of you not familiar with my reads, I'll show you the setup real quickly. There we go. All right, so this is the union read. I have a union read and the twin flame read today. It's for all the twin flames. So for this read, it's 4D, 5D, 6D. The left is the feminine, the right's the masculine, and the bridge between them is in the middle. The incoming divine feminine, the outgoing divine masculine, the underlying energies, and the closing energies here. This is the twin flame read in front of you now. This is the SIRIAN Starseed deck for both reads. And then here's the clarified full read. It's a 7-deck read for the twin flames. And if something doesn't resonate with you, don't force it to fit. It is a general read, and there's a lot of energy on the table. If you want something more specific, you can always reach out to me. My information's below, as well as on my website, twinflames3344.com. And I have a CD out there called Ashes, Twin Towers to Twin Flames, if you want to check it out, by Evelyn, Stainthorpe. It is my music. The first 4 songs regard the time of the Twin Towers, and the second 7 songs were written on my twin flame journey. It's 11:11 on the clock, so that is definitely a synchronicity. And that was very nice of Spirit to confirm my music, so you might want to check it out. It will definitely help. I love my music. I still listen to it, but it's piano and voice. They are my songs. Not only, hopefully you'll like the music and you think it's beautiful, but also it'll help to bring up some wounds for you. It's definitely a romantic CD. So I want to get right into these messages because they were very profound today. Wow. So before I start, this morning, after I was reading from my spirit animal book, I was guided to go in and check with my inner child because I haven't done that in a bit. So when I went in, I saw my little girl, and she was just very happy, standing straight up. She was smiling. She was looking up at me, straight up at me, smiling from ear to ear and reaching up to me, waving. And she was like, just kept waving to me no matter what I did. If I asked her something to tell me what a message was, what did she need me to know? She was just smiling and waving at me. And then I see her walk out a door. As I watch her transform, she goes off to the right or clockwise and then comes back in another door as a grown woman, a young woman who's still smiling and waving up at me. So then, because of the progression, I thought after she went out the door again, she was going to come back as an older woman. But she didn't. So the message they were giving me after that, because I was still within asking for the message was when she went out the same door but didn't return, I was then posed, do you want to grow old or do you want to stay young and decide when to leave? Which was very profound because this is where we're going. And then instead of doing my video right away for you guys, I was guided to review the codes and reads that I did yesterday for a fresh perspective, and wow, was that profound. And so now, in the now moment, the video. Okay? So also very profound today. We went from yesterday the 28th to today the 29th, which is also the 37 and the 38, which is the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups, the unconditional love, and the Queen of Cups, that loving, kind, and intuitive energy, along with the Three of Wands being in the now moment, very present, and the Two of Wands yesterday with the King of Cups and unconditional love. So a very profound combination of energies here. So we start off with the union. And I'd watched Can't Hardly Wait prior to doing this. And again, that I wrote down the end of the movie, and it was at 10:37, which is a turn for the better, and then that 37 of the King of Cups again. So, yesterday the 28th, which was the 37, the King of Cups, and the Two of Wands, the choice of path and unconditional love, I did the union energy, the 45D60 read at 7:02, which is the Chariot and the High Priestess, and also that day that I met my twin. And at the underlying energy here was the Chariot, and then the central card was the Two of Cups, and the final card was the Strength card. So traveling, moving, and ascending. The Two of Cups to break through the ring of fire with a mighty roar, or in other words, the birthing process. The incoming divine feminine, and as soon as we bring up birthing, we're talking about mother and child. The incoming divine feminine was the Five of Pentacles, reason, and the Nine of Pentacles, the sovereign. Coming in fast from the Chariot and the underlying energies, the Hermit in the Mary Magdalene cave, with reason to be sovereign. Staring down the Emperor, who's tossing in the towel, or AI equipment, to tap into the community or sovereign's chest. Pure with wise counsel here. The 4D is the Ace of Wands, Page of Wands, and Knight of Pentacles. The Divine Feminine with new passion ignited, the Divine Masculine proposal of Greece, whether that's the country or the greasy wheel. Bridging by the Page of Wands, inspired for the Divine Feminine to worship him to get back her flame, or willing to take care of his boo-boo. The 5D here is and again, that's the mother-child energy. The 5D is the Divine Feminine walking away. And that was let me look at the picture again. I forgot to write those three cards down. So, yeah, the 5D was the Eight of Cups, the Eight of Cups, the Two of Cups, and the Ten of Wands, which is the Atlas energy. So the Divine Feminine walking away, or inspiring Batman to walk away. The Divine Masculine coming up out of the dungeon without the wounded warrior, right, leaving that victim mentality behind, with only one flame in the left hand, toward the light, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Bridging with connection, the Two of Cups, face to face, grail to grail, under the archway, or the portal in the Garden of Eden, heaven on earth, paradise. So we're bringing up the portal, or the threshold, which also came up in the very, very profound message I got this morning, so I wanted to link that. So remember that I said this. In the 6D is the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Cups, and the Four of Pentacles, which is the Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave. The Divine Feminine getting ready to play ball. The Dolphin or Lemurian energy coming up. Can't wait to tell. And I just said can't wait, didn't I? Can hardly wait. And now in my read it was saying, and it had nothing to do with each other. The Divine Feminine getting ready to play ball. The Dolphin, the Lemurian energy. Can't wait to tell the truth. And that was the movie last night. Can't wait. With the Emerald and Magenta buoy, or boy, the floating device, and the harmonic egg came up. The Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave, all cozy and warm, must be a gazelle healing his heart. The bridge with the Ace of Cups, an outpouring of love, self-love, spiritual love, and new love, and the water fountain, or in other words, the fountain of youth. So here, not only my message about the question I was posed about, do you want to stay young or grow old, but also the harmonic egg is supposed to also allow you to become younger again. So this is very much energy about that fountain of youth and healing properties. At 7:19, which is the chariot and the 19 of the sun, the divine feminine ignited to align with footprints in the sand, to follow his lead and get in the water, where the water meets the beach. The divine masculine with the Knight of Pentacles in Greece, getting his hands dirty, lighting the torch, the one that lights all others. And that's, I'm thinking of the menorah here as well, but also the Olympic torch, lighting the torch, the one that lights all others. Quasimodo ascending the tower to sit at the top in his warm, cozy nest with big crystals. Bridging here between them with the Page of Wands, excited about partnership of love exuding out to others. And the outgoing divine masculine is the Ten of Pentacles, the shadow and alchemy. Red's family hoarding the crystals, caught in the web, alchemizing the pit in their stomach with a breakthrough perhaps into the outer realms at 7:30, which is again the chariot, and then the Four of Wands, the union energy. So she's inspired to go to the beach. He may be inspired to propose Crystal Cave. She, the single abundance, and he, the family abundance, is coming up here. The divine feminine with the Cancer and Aries and the sovereign on her side. He with the Capricorn, Sagittarius, and Leo on his side with the Knight of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, of course. And then between them is the Page of Wands, the inspiration. The number from this union read was 51, or the King of Swords, from the horizontal pillars of 6, 20, and 25, which are the Lovers, Judgment, and the Knight of Wands. And the vertical pillars were 5, 9, 10, 3, 14, and 10, which is the Hierophant, the Hermit, the Wheel, the Empress, the Temperance card, and then the Wheel again, going into the 51 of the King of Swords. So the message being the Lovers wake up to the Knight of Wands and the King of Swords, the War of Two Destinies, and Pi in the middle, or two-wheeler with the Empress and the Patient Angel, going to the King of Swords healer, which is like going, we were just talking about the harmonic egg, and also healing yourselves. So here's where we get into the twin flame read. The SIRIAN Starseed deck was cut at 750, which is the Chariot and the 50 of the Ten of Cups. And at 758, F chalices came up. So if you're mad at emotions, you can say it's F, as in the F word. But F for me is the Phi energy of expansion and contraction of heart and emotions, the chalices. And then ES also came up, which is also, ES is spelled out as S, the letter S, which is Sophia. Say it soft and it's almost like praying. Sophia, okay? So Sophia, Maria, however you want to say it, is what they're saying right now. But the ES are also my initials because I'm the conduit to send this message to you. And then we have the completion of the read at 8:11, which is the Strength card, and the 11 of Justice, which is truth and balance. The 8 is also the dance between the masculine and feminine. And the major arcana here were Indigo, Justice. Indigo is the magician, by the way. Justice, Reason is the Emperor, and Higher Self is the High Priestess. Before the read, because I always do 5 cards on either end before the read and then after the read, which makes it a 21 card read. The Lovers came up before the read, and after the read was the Great Wheel and Transition, which is the Death card. We had 4 wands, 1 pentacle, 2 cups, and no swords. So a lot of wands here, which is all about passionate action, movement. We had the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Wands within the main body of the read. And before the read was the Queen of Swords, the Page of Cups, Page of Pentacles, and the King of Swords here. The numbers here were all about the code line of love partnership. And we had triple 10s, very high vibration, and double 4s, which is the 44 of the Four of Cups. Grounding and integrating and mastering of love, especially receiving it. So again, keeping this very purified, high vibrational energy and mastering. We also had the 45 of the 5 of Cups, the 1 of the Magician. And the 5 of Cups is the grieving card. It's about letting go, getting over the grief, the guilt, the shame, the loss, whatever it was for you, the regret. and then keeping that vibration really high. The other numbers that came up here were 410, which is 0 behind the 41 of the Ace of Cups, self-love, spiritual love, new love, and source energy backing it up. And then we also had the 13 of the transition card, the death card, 34 of the 8 of Wands, the arrows of love, but also that energetic exchange between the masculine and the feminine, the 57 of the 3 of Swords, and that, which is the separation, the heartbreak, the chest pain, and the healing and forgiveness as well, and the 710, which is 0 behind 71, which for me is the co-creation card, the 3 of Pentacles. And in the SIRIAN Starseed deck, it's called Trinity. Try, nigh, tie. Try the show of power and gratitude. The TY is thank you. So we have on the code line, it's all about the love partnership here. And this was so interesting the way this played out. So listen closely. So first from yesterday, what I was getting is to see the expansion and contraction at the mid-moon cycle, right? Because we just passed the full moon. We'll be going to the mid-moon cycle soon. To see the high five, which my inner child was like high-fiving me this morning. And the new life after death with the ESP, your telepathy or your television of Atlas, the weight of the world upon your shoulders, the burden. And remember, in this deck, it's about leaving the wounded warrior behind to only carry the one flame, right? In the card, he's coming up the basement or dungeon steps with the other 9 torches and is like in a backpack, you know, but they're not lit. Like leaving that behind and just holding the one flame, him and his one flame coming up into the light, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And then the EC was coming up, and the love partnership. And actually, EC is my maiden name, my maiden initials. So again, it was coming up around the divine feminine. The sea foam also was coming up to see the high tide. Again, that very high vibration of change and offering of a new life. The name Addie was coming up, but also the aid. But Addie, there could be a specific person named Addie pretending to be dramatic for the divine feminine. It's like even a child being defensive about a divine feminine and acting up or even showing off. You know how kids can be. For the benefit of the divine feminine here, we also have the message of seeing to go, to be, higher you, 0 value. And again, this has to do with worthiness of self. Sister, maybe dear and or expensive. To leave, see the scythe and the sword, the truth, the high vibe, the high 5, the Ace of Pentacles, right, the diamond in the rough, birthing out with that, you know, offer of a new life. The offer is greasing the burden, which is the Atlas, the weight, and the world. The EC love partnership. So however you take the EC, that it doesn't have to be my initials, it can be any way it comes to you, but regarding the divine feminine in the love partnership here. And like I said, it's very much about the mother energy here, and Gaia is coming up as well. So then this morning when I came back there's one more thing before this morning. At 8:37 last night, which is the 8 of strength in the dance, the 37 again of the King of Cups, unconditional love, asthma was coming up. And the courtyard or rubbish dump. So someone who has asthma, they may be telling you this is the reason for your asthma, the courtyard or the rubbish dump. They can be a village as well. Whenever I go to the mall too, like my eyes can't take it. They burn like crazy. My eyes are really sensitive to irritants. But asthma, the courtyard or rubbish dump, the lowercase I of the chakra system, and the egg offering a new life. After death, ESP, so some of you may be being guided to go, if you have a harmonic egg in your state, you might want to go check it out if you're near one. The after death ESP of Atlas and the EC love partnership. Okay? So that AD can be after death, it can be Addie, it can be advertising, it can be so many things. But regarding your telepathy, your ESP, and the Atlas energy of the weight of the world, and the divine feminine love partnership. So when I came back this morning and and looked at the code line again, this is now how it came out. The state of expanding and contracting, an obstacle. To be or not to be. The hi-fi egg, the diamond in the rough. And remember, you are the hi-fi egg. The hi-fi egg, the diamond in the rough. The hi-fi holy place of offering. Right? That can be the birth canal or the now moment. The hell, the fire, the fame, the name or reputation. The story, to give and hold. The hat, how many hats do you wear? The I am that I am. Being toward, amongst, and against, which is all. To fish, to angle or force. Atlas, being old, been there, done that, is coming up here. Offering a diamond a new life and taking on the burden of 10 nights that he's been there before, being the face of the cliff in a love partnership. And that's coming up like the presidential faces on the mountain. And then the final interpretation here that came up, but this wasn't even the most profound. That doesn't come until the end of the read. But to be or not to be, high fidelity, the holy place, my temple in the now moment, completing the birth cycle of the coal becoming the diamond, needing polishing still, an underworld epic to thwart our efforts, the great Atlas in holding the weight of the world, getting lighter and lighter, all in the E, the letter E, which then when you turn it over becomes the M and then the 3 and then the W, like I've discussed before. And here is coming up the emu, the flightless bird, or the electromagnetic unit, the emu, EMU, which will come up again as the M, right, in Elena Denon, who talks about the Pleiadians. She says the Pleiadians, or the Pleiadians speak through her. She's connected with Thor Hans. They call God a she, and they refer to God as Imana. And so I always spell it as E-M-A-N-A, which is man between E and A. But anyway, the electromagnetic unit, the emu, having the potential to fly with the flightless bird, having the potential to fly and not needing to, 0 point. I am that I am, all already, been there, done that. Okay? So then, the emu will get expanded when I get to the end of this read. So stay tuned, because that was really beautiful at the end here. All right, so we start this read with the Four of Wands, reversed. Okay, the home upside down, the instability, or the union upside down, the instability. That can also be, moving or visiting another house. This can be an end of a party, or the party's over, the end of a marriage, an unstable house where it needs a lot of work. Where the Queen of Wands is upright here, rejected, vulnerable, starting over, in need of help from the King of Swords upright. Or the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords may have 2 kids here who are bored and finding mischief for some excitement during a move, a visit, or working on the house, an unstable home. The Page of Cups reversed, perhaps not being very loving, and the Page of Pentacles reversed, perhaps not doing their homework. On a quest or battling the Empress, refusing to budge, and here this can be a mother, if we have the King and Queen of Swords here as parents and then children. Here could be an Empress who's a mother, or an aunt, or a grandmother, or a boss, perhaps. But the on a quest or battling the Empress, refusing to budge, and that can just be an older woman too. It could be the Divine Feminine, but I wasn't getting that here. So stubborn Taurus is coming up, the Queen of Pentacles in need of tools to connect in the 5D, or get a break, or buy a bed, an egg, or perhaps a med bed's coming up, or being insecure about those things. Could be battling a mother for a home, or an older woman, or a place to stay, or to take the kids. One blocking her from leaving, and the older is worried about sleeping over of the 2 kids. Or what if the old woman drops dead while we're alone with them? So this is like the concerns of some kids. Or 2 families fighting over the family home. the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords, the Page of Cups reversed, and the Page of Pentacles reversed, which if not kids, they're just messages there. The Empress is upright and the Queen of Pentacles is upright, along with the Knight of Pentacles reversed, or just a Taurus and Virgo, or Taurus with Virgo in their chart, may be insecure about sleeping alone in the house, perhaps without the kids. And this can be someone newly passing kids back and forth between parents, and now they actually have time alone in the house, or sending the kids to the grandparents, to stay for a bit for a break. So choosing a path here with the Queen of Pentacles, conflicted about a new passion, or fighting to offer passion to the Page of Wands, who's excited like a child, or excited to break patterns and healing and separation, or forgiving disappointment or heartbreak, about a home, about a move, a visitation, or instability. From Flintstones to moon boots, becoming modern and then going back to nature. A long tale about where we really come from. We'll save that for another day when they're in a better mood here. It's coming from the Divine Masculine energy. Inspired to remove the mask, to heal and forgive, the world cycle complete. The sealed Divine Feminine taking a sneak peek at the King of Wands, looking the other way, at the brokenness, the state of emergency, the chaos, and he's just over it. The little lizard or iguana on his platform, looking up to him, or child looking for praise for having taken the dogs out without being asked, or apologizing about the car. Maybe they messed up the car and now they're both over it. Pisces upright and Cancer reversed. Peekaboo around the clock, or a neighborhood watch coming up here. Deception comes up, and beneath that, heart-to-heart conversations. And the deception can be as simple as just not exposing a part of yourself to someone or your partner. But again, this could be some kind of deception of someone's wearing a mask in the relationship, either just not being their full self or literally lying to the other person. But beneath that was heart-to-heart conversations, so the deception's coming up after the heart-to-heart conversations happened. Regarding the mask, perhaps, unstable and healing, getting over the deception at 9:26, which is the Hermit and the Page of Wands. 2, thinking about making an escape. It's like two people who are in a relationship and both thinking the same thing about escaping each other, 2 together but distant, or 2 apart but close. The Knight of Wands upright, rushing forward to the rescue from an unstable home post-war of the Roses, and dumped, purging, pushed to their emotional limit, a competitive couple who no longer is having casual flirtations or casual sex, on the swing outside or dancing in the living room. At 9:32, which is the Hermit and the Journey, or the Journeyman, the battle of the sexes or the X's, and no more circle of trust. And Shadowbone, that series came up last night as well. Shadowbone. So no more cleavage or marathon lovemaking, and the Knight of Wands getting the heck out of there. Perhaps with her boyfriend or girlfriend. That could be a child who's getting out of the house, who can't take being with their parents anymore. So the underlying energy is Gemini reversed, Taurus upright, and Virgo reversed. Pisces upright, Cancer reversed, and Sag upright. Synchronicities, which is number 87, the reflection of the 78, the dream family, business or community. And then underneath that was creativity, which is number 3, which is about Gaia and abundance and socializing. So there's the synchronicity card is also coming up with the royalty, purple and gold. The horny devil is coming up here, or Capricorn with negative past, or a falling out with the soul tie or the kids, and the Knight of Pentacles reversed. And the Knight of Pentacles reversed is free to leap, while the Page of Pentacles reversed may need help and realizing that that ship has sailed. And now the announcement. Okay, and the Knight of Pentacles and Page of Pentacles can definitely be kids here reversed, or they could be young workers as well. So import and exports come up, and shipping and receiving here, as well as grass and Chinese. Also Kermit. It can be the Hermit Kermit, and Miss Piggy is also coming up, which is funny because I always referred to my sister and her husband as Kermit and Miss Piggy. in the wake-up call or final judgment, or being scored in a competition or child sports, or called to duty where only the devils and fools go, and on the outs with the Knight of Pentacles reversed and the Page of Pentacles reversed, kids or workers, perhaps you laid off or fired or kicked out. Judgment call about instability of the home, healing and forgiving and getting over it, and overwhelmed with synchronicity. So in the very underlying energy of this read is being love, finding peace and alchemy, a higher love. The patient angel who can transmute fire and ice, lucky strike, was also coming up here. And then after this read, the energy that was coming up was someone embarrassed or releasing themselves, starting over as the King of Cups, drained, in need of sunshine, High Priestess, secret, psychic abilities, the Pisces or Virgo, and the Injustice or Libra reversed, or going through a selection process, where the Page of Pentacles is reversed and overwhelmed by all the offers or temptations, or of Capricorn upright and Virgo reversed, or feels like they're going crazy or seeing illusions. And again, this could be going through a selection process of getting a job, or getting into a school, or it was really coming up with the Page of Pentacles, so definitely for younger people, but it also could be an adult feeling like a child going into something new again and going through that selection process. The recent past is Reason or Emperor upright, the King of Swords offering love, so that King of Swords could be the Emperor right here, offering love to end the nightmare in a visit to Sovereign, Temptation, or Capricorn person, feeling guilt and shame, knowing and keeping to themselves, overworking, not working, or it's just not working out, resting on break and meditating or praying, the 5D connection, and destined for Libra, Aries, or Capricorn man. The foundation here is Justice reversed, the injustice of the full moon, and looking back at the King of Cups, which is also unconditional love, or it can be a water sign, so it can be a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. But the Emperor here and the Emperor and the King of Cups always come up in some kind of issues with each other. So I don't know if this is, and it's going to be different for different families, but it can be two different grandparents in the family, right? The two different patriarchs and their different perspectives, and maybe they don't necessarily get along. Or this can be a father and son as well. It can be any relationship, but those are the two specifics that come up for me. So the King of Cups is here, and then the Emperor moving to peace, or moving them out, or kids between the Emperor and the King of Cups. The central energy being the indigo reversed, insecure in a breakup or lack of affection, letting go to fix things up, which can be a house or a relationship or anything for that matter. Fixing something up, putting a little money into something even if you don't have a lot, with the High Priestess coming out, and the Pisces, Virgo upright, and then Virgo or Gemini reversed here. Now both man and inner child insecure about the Magician embodiment here. Perhaps not feeling like they have the tools to do it, or they're not meditating well. Maybe a struggle for some of the men to meditate. So perhaps a parent with an aide or a nurse, perhaps they have dementia, challenged by the Ace of Pentacles, an offer, a diamond in the rough, a third party, Knight of Wands, or drunks to the rescue. This could be a bunch of kids out, or a bunch of guys out, or a bunch of girls out at night, hanging out with the girls or guys, and then, laughing and joking and then coming into the rescue. The Queen of Swords upright, the King of Pentacles upright, starting over. The Page of Cups reversed, not happy about that. A lot of energetic exchange and uncomfortable energies here at 1019, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Sun. And standing up for themselves here. The 5 of Cups and 6 of Cups were back to back, and they look like twin girls. So I don't know if someone's dealing with twin girls. And these could be, a feminine relationship. It also can be that you actually have twin girls. But they're coming up as being over it in a falling out, or sisters who are two of a kind, and then Patty Duke comes up. So maybe they're putting their dukes up. So sisters or two of a kind, destined, or Libra told them to keep quiet about an offer of a new life, or told them to keep quiet about the tickets to see the show. This could be someone trying to surprise someone. The patient angel in energetic exchange with getting over it. The past with the star power, presenting the truth to Leo, kids or pets, who have been out of control, or the truth about ego death and the journey, the weakness and the need for courage to get through the fold, the articulation, the bind, the shift. So notice how they were relating the shift to the binding on a book or Akashic records, the articulation there. So now here's the Queen of Cups upright, seeing synchronicities and knowing about them, imprisoned, letting go of emotional attachment. So here's the EAs coming up, the ENA, to the Two of Cups connection. So imprisoned, letting go of emotional attachments to the Two of Cups connection, and judgment and or announcements. The Queen of Wands upright, implementing a plan or strategizing with the Page of Wands, who's inspired. So that could be a mother and child, or a woman with a very much younger masculine. The Queen of Cups is upright and not surprised, two left behind, or one got tripped and got hurt. And again, this could be she's not surprised because she told them to put their shoes away and they tripped over their shoes or something like that. It can be any way you receive it though. Falling for the Queen of Cups, holding back an announcement after the war or the injustice of Libra and Aquarius, both reversed here. The King of Swords, making them keep quiet, perhaps about an idea or an awakening or a surprise at night, the full moon, or Capricorn reversed and Cancer upright, which those two are on the same axis. And then Aquarius is reversed, and then Capricorn, again, reversed or upright, deliberating what's not working in their relationship. It's like that all business relationship or working relationship. Capricorn reversed, embarrassed, and the Page of Pentacles reversed, in need of help. Okay, that can be one and the same person as well. Offering the Ace of Pentacles, or that new life, to the Ten of Cups reversed, unhappy family, or the ending of an emotional cycle that's way overdue. To release prisoner from a debt or inequity in a relationship with two egos out of control, and again the War of the Roses. Someone, they may be weak or sick or sundowning, in need of strength. And sundowning can be dementia, but it can also just be ascension symptoms. In need of strength or courage here, in need of sunshine, the Cowardly Lion coming up, and the Crow, and the Scarecrow, the Crow, and the Tin Man, in need of a heart, with sudden events or an epiphany, an eruption, perhaps of pain or betrayal or a pain in the ass. The Page of Swords reversed, child or negative self-talk creeping in here. Soon for the twins is the Knight of Wands upright, with a slow burn, carrying the weight and the world all at the same time, perhaps in disconnect or at a distance. And the Page of Cups reversed is never satisfied or feeling rejected and unhappy or crying or whining. One is dealing with disconnection with a higher love, with an issue at work, or third party receiving a new passionate offer from the past, falling out, making a getaway, only now to return. Atlas standing up to check on the healing process, back and forth, one step at a time. The twin flames are the higher self, pushed to their limit, purging, sweating it out. The Knight of Swords reversed, holding their tongue. The Star, Knight of Wands, leaving behind a negative group, or that could be social distancing as well, with the Dark Knight ending or transition through a divorce, a breaking away from religion, establishment, or Taurus reversed, or Scorpio upright and Taurus reversed, which are also on the same axis, not working out, as the Knight of Wands made a run for it, and that can even be a child escaping their parents again, who are always fighting. Worth waiting for, attraction, you deserve love, and healing family issues all come up for the twins. Around them, or how they're seen, is the Five of Wands upright. The conflict with the Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community, which may have dysfunction, or maybe there's a loss here, whether it's a loss of a family member or a loss of money, whether that's family, business, or community, or the world at large. But this dysfunction or loss or misuse of money, destined, and the injustice of choosing a new path and presenting the truth, the victory, in opening of the crown at 1043, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and the Three of Cups coming together. The block here for the twins being the Ten of Wands. Again, this is the Atlas energy of walking up and leaving the 9 wands behind, the wounded warrior. escaping the scene of the crime to return from the past and offer new passion and perhaps offer help at work. With love partnership coming up, but even more so here for the twins, patience. No big love at work, yet third party with big love comes through anyway in a sudden jealous rage, a sudden eruption, and or an epiphany here, explosive love partnership. The Ten of Cups reversed, an emotional cycle that's over with unhappy family and all business relationship. Seven of Swords passing downloads as the wizard passes by on their way from Oz, destined to transition through the portal to end the pain of the past in the awakening process. A light bulb moment about angels, horns, and or the Merkaba. The Merkaba has 8 points, or in other words, 2 0 points. The 8 is 2 zeros. The Four of Wands reversed, the injustice, not in union with higher self due to conflict with the Emperor, or indigo reversed. Remember, that's physical union. You're always in union. The challenge being the offer of a new life to the Knight of Wands to ascend as Atlas, leaving the wounded warrior behind. With the Queen of Cups done, the emotional cycle of downloads, passing and destined to transition to ending pain and betrayal of the past, the Christ consciousness, to bring him down off the cross, which is interesting because that came up yesterday as well. The 1052 is the turn for the better of the wheel, and the 52 of the Queen of Swords, and she just got a whistle there. Been a lot of whistling for the queens lately. The Queen of Swords is upright, and the Page of Cups reversed, starting over with the Page of Pentacles reversed, and the King of Swords upright, moving in together perhaps. All right, so there's a King and Queen of Swords, and then there's a Page of Cups and a Page of Pentacles reversed. So they could be coming together or testing out how it is apart. Like if one kid is going to stay with the mom and one's going to stay with the dad, it's kind of like testing that out, moving in with the parents they're going to stay with. Or this could be two couples with kids moving in together in a new relationship. The Emperor judged or making calls or announcements. The injustice of the indigo reversed, insecure or without tools. Of the Queen of Cups upright, that water sign energy, again of Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, being loving, kind, and nurturing and psychic or intuitive, challenged by the offer of a diamond in the rough. The higher self, the Knight of Wands, expanding up the steps to end the cycle of unhappiness in passing downloads, destined to transition through the portal to end the pain or in a painful ending, or getting a massage to get over the past. At 1055, which is a turn for the better in the Truth or the Excalibur, looking back here and awakening in the process. Okay, so here's where I came in this morning to this read and got the new message for you guys. Okay, so listen closely. Oh, I was just getting Rocky Horror Picture Show. So I forget what the first line is. Come, and come closer as I lose control. And then something, not for very much longer as you lose control. So I'm not thinking of the words right now. But anyway, Rocky Horror, if you want to listen to that, is coming up here. So, and there's so much about Rocky Horror Picture Show, actually, that's in the Twin Flame Journey as well. Sorry, it was all fuzzy on the screen there. I forgot to focus it in there for you. Okay, so here's the message about this read. When you look at the main read here, so I'm going to give you a shot of that again. All right, so this is the main read you're looking at. And so when I looked at this morning, here's where the message came in. And keep in mind that Four of Wands is reversed, and so is the Justice card, and so is the Ten of Cups there at the end. Okay? So here's the message. You don't need a house to be stable. You don't need a card to tell you that you're in union. You don't need justice or another outside yourself to confirm your truth. The twin flame and the higher self are already inspired, and energy is always on the move. The Knight of Wands with that slow burn, and the Queen of Cups with a loving heart, expanding the flame without the wounded warrior. And WW is 4 U's. You only need 1 U. EMU. So we come back to the EMU here of the electromagnetic unit. The EMU, or the M, or Imana, the way the Pleiadians call God, and the U, God and you. M and U. Imana, remember I said, is the man with the E and the A. E-N-A, like M and M's. There's an N in the middle there. E-N-A literally means to agree, unite, the day of the week, as in the day of the week. One, water, to have, internal and inner. So the EMU of the M and the U, and the Amana, the man with the one, or the connection with the one, the M, or God, and U, to carry the flame, the Olympic torch, to Mount Olympus, Mohammed to the mountain, and Atlas holding the world, which is actually Gaia. The map is Atlas of her. He, as who's holding the world, right? So we have Gaia and the map Atlas of her. He is studying all her angles and carrying her over the threshold perpetually in his now moment. The threshold. Thresh means only the portal. Well, threshold first, there's only the portal. There's no need for the actual house or the outside emotions. And outside emotions, only the portal, the thresh, to separate the grain from the straw or husk, or in other words, the wheat from the chaff, by beating, to beat soundly with a rod or staff. Gaia's produce, right? The rod and staff is the stalk of the flower, and then the flower, right? Gaia's produce, her creation, to take it apart and put your heartbeat into it. Make it something new to hold. Threshold. To separate the divine masculine and the divine feminine, to separate the leader and follower, and this was at 1028, which is a turn for the better in the 28 of the twin flames, and to separate the boss and staff, to get to the heart of it and expand, to breathe new life into it. So at 10:36 to 37 to 38, I had to leave to go to the bathroom, and came back at 39 to 40, which is then the Knight and Page of Cups with an innocent new outlook. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you again, okay, because it's got a lot of reference. You really have to visualize. You don't need a house to be stable. You don't need a card to tell you that you're in union. You don't need justice or another to confirm your truth. The twin flame and higher self are already inspired because energy is always on the move. The Knight of Wands with a slow burn, and the Queen of Cups with a loving heart, expanding the flame without the wounded warrior, the 4 U's, only needing 1 U, the EMU, the M and U, to carry the flame, the Olympic torch to Mount Olympus, the Mohammed to the mountain, the Atlas holding the world, which is actually Gaia, the map Atlas of her, has studied all of her angles, and carrying her over the threshold perpetually in his now moment. The threshold, only the portal, the threshold, no need for the actual house inside the portal or outside emotions. The thresh, to separate the wheat from the chaff by beating, to beat soundly with a rod or staff. Gaia's produce, creation, and take it apart and put your heart beat into it and make it something new to hold. Threshold, to separate the divine masculine and feminine, the leader and the follower, the boss and the staff, and get to the heart of it and expand. Breathe new life into it. Okay? Very profound. So tell me how you like that one. I might actually post that one little statement there on its own, so those who are not willing to listen might check that one out. So let's go ahead and pull some oracle cards for you. It's at 49:52, which is the Get Your Wish card, and the Queen of Swords. And on the clock here, it's 11:59, which is literally the 11th hour, right? The minute before midnight or noon. And the 11 of Justice, the 59 of the War Within. And we were just talking about the War of the Roses. And the Get Your Wish card, and the 52 of the Queen of Wands. And she was coming up very significantly yesterday, too. The Bearer of Light, I'm getting right now. And the bunny just fell out. The bunny rabbit's really scared. Who's nervous? And that could be the Divine Masculine, actually. Take a deep breath, you guys. Let's see from the Animal Spirit deck what's coming up for you guys for this Twin Flame read. And then we're going to go to the Journey of Love and see what's up there. Whoa. Like cards all over the place. Just give me 1 second. I'm not going to read you the whole deck. But that's a messy message for you. Life and love are messy. So don't worry about that your house is perfectly clean. Remember that dirt is nature. Okay. Is that correct? We have the bat coming up here, and the crow, and the deer. And I just want to say, and the woe. But it's not. It's the camel. But that's the woe, the water. And I don't know why I'm getting 5. Well, the expansion here, the moth to the flame. I'm sorry, we're getting a 6 card too, the hawk. All right, so we're getting all 6 of these coming up. So I'm going to start over with them from the first card. We have the underlying energy is the, sorry, my hair gets in everything. The crocodile. Okay, that's the underlying energy. Remember, he lays in wait. He's very patient unless he's off balance, and then he snaps, and, you know, he's going to go crazy on you. All right, look at that, the underlying energy here. The shark and the crocodile. Right? They're both your very territorial enemies of the human. This is the energy that we're dealing with, and the underlying energy. And check this out. The horse is right. Check, this is so intense. Look how intensely this horse is behind them, looking straight ahead like they're so powerful. And remember, I call God Mr. Ed. Okay? And it's like marking where the unicorn would be with a little, like a moon shape here. So here's this very, like enemy energy of the 5 of Swords. And here's the horse, or Mr. Ed as Saggy behind them. You know, God in charge. God's in charge. You guys can fight. This is the War of the Roses. Oh, that's so funny. And here's God in charge mediating the War of the Roses. Nose to nose. Nose to nose. Look at that. Yeah, and I guess the crocodile wins. And the crocodile is on top here. And the otter's behind the horse saying, "What's up? What's going on? This is so exciting." This is so cute. I love these cards. All right, so there's your underlying energy. All right, you got God mediating the War of the Roses. And it looks like the crocodile ate the shark. Okay? And was talking about war, right? The energy of war. And then you have the bat. We always talk about the Divine Masculine as bat, the Batman in the bat cave. And we will read the bat for you for sure. And there's the energy of the earth here, and the bat flying away from the earth, up in the ethers here. But also the scared mouse was coming up the other day. And this is really bringing that scared mouse out here. And the scared rabbit was just coming up, you know. And that can reference that both the masculine and feminine are just, you know, showing that nervous energy. They're just very sweet and vulnerable inside, the mouse and the bunny. You know, they just want to run around and play and socialize. So here we have the bat, right? A mouse with wings. And then we have the crow. And last night when I pulled cards, it was all birds. So here's 2 winged animals, right? Birds. And then the crow, who's very wise as well. But the crow is facing away. The bat's looking straight ahead because they're scared. The crow is facing away because they're tired of this nonsense of fear over here. And you see the crow is attached to the beautiful rainbow of the world, sending rainbow light around the world, perhaps. And then we have the deer, who's very sweet and innocent and beautiful. And again, that's very earth energy. You know, we have a lot of air here, and then the earth coming in of the deer, very doughy-eyed, but not fearful like the mouse. Perhaps not as kind of confident as the crow, but the deer is very graceful and beautiful like the gazelle. And then we have the camel, who's very independent. They're like all in one. They have water, they have a ride. They're not afraid of anything, right? They got it all. They're very independent. And then we have the moth to the flame and the hawk over here. So what's with all these flying creatures here, right? The air is on the way up to heaven, right? So I want to look at these guys for a second, all laid out, so I can actually see what's going on here. Ah, see, now when you spread them out, it's like the camels talking to the deer, and they each have two on their side. Now the camel's fiery, the deer is earth. And the earth may be mad at the camel's trying to talk to them. The deer has the crow on their side and the bat, but the bat's afraid. And the crow, you know, they could get a little bit arrogant there, because, you know, if they peck you, that's not going to feel good. But they are standing up for the deer, even though the bat may be a little bit afraid there. On the other side is the camel coming in to talk to the deer. The deer won't look at them. Like I said, they may be mad at them. And the camel has the moth behind them, right? Which the moth is distracted. It's the moth to the flame. They're always looking in another direction. Wherever the flame is, that's where they go. And then we have the hawk who's flying in the other direction. So the camel's got no support. The deer has a lot of support. The camel does not. They're flaking out on them. So whoever that is for you. All right, we had a War of the Roses here with God mediating, which there was a winner, right? The crocodile ate the shark and came out on top. A horse is a horse, of course, of course. A horse is a horse, right? Because a horse isn't supposed to speak, right? But Mr. Ed did. And he's saying, too, there's not supposed to be a winner, right? Where people are at war and eating each other. But there is, right? He's saying, just as I can learn to speak or just be a horse instead and not talk, same is that you can decide not to be at war with each other and eat each other. Instead, how about we just find some peace? And then the otter watching the show. So again, it's about, you know, when you're mad at somebody and forgiving them. It's saying too, the camel's trying to get the deer to forgive them. And the deer may have every right to be upset with the camel. But look at all the support that the deer has. They're standing behind them. But the camel has no support. The moth is often running somewhere else, wherever they get distracted. And the hawk is totally uninterested. This is not interesting to me, so I'm leaving. They have no support, but the deer has all this support. So see a new perspective, dear, when someone comes to talk to you and you don't want to forgive them. Okay, this is the message coming through. It's all about forgiveness. And let's go to the journey of love and see what that has to say. And I was just getting my mother, yeah, all right. I'm looking at the alligator, the crocodile, and of course they're fighting with the shark. And they were guiding me to tell about, like, I was just getting scolded for, because the horse is saying, well, I'm not stupid enough to go near that crocodile, like to the shark. I'm not stupid enough to go near that. That was my mother for my brothers beating me up. Well, then stay away from them, right? It's like having that stupid comment. It's like, well, I wasn't with them. They came in the room and started instigating things with me. So anyway, they wanted me to bring that up. So however that relates to you, that's so funny. So I'm bringing that up because my mother used to blame me. Instead of blaming my brothers for beating me up, she would blame me for being there and not leaving. Like it was, I wouldn't have been able to leave anyway. They would have just chased me down. You know, that's how brothers, kids are. But anyway, you get the point. So it's about walking away when you're triggered and not engaging in something if you can. Obviously, there are situations where people are perpetrators and they don't care what you want, and so they insinuate themselves upon you. But you can walk away when you can. And if you can't, and you do literally become a victim of that circumstance, you can still rise above that and find forgiveness so that you can find happiness within yourself. So here's the journey of love. So again, a lesson about forgiveness. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. All right. Beauty and 58. This is also all about getting your beauty rest. So it's a lot easier to forgive someone when you've had your beauty rest. When you wake someone first in the morning, when they're vulnerable, right? When you're not in your ego yet, you've just woken up and you're so vulnerable and sweet, right? That's a good time to forgive, because it's just showing you the feeling of forgiveness. When you're vulnerable, you're more open to be forgiving. When you're well rested and you feel good. And then the yin-yang lovers coming up here, bending over backwards. The 8 of the dance between the masculine and the feminine within the 4D connection, right? The meditative state in 5D of connecting. And getting your beauty rest as opposed to bending over backwards to make something happen. Allow, be vulnerable, be the feminine. And here's the mother. The mother prays. And that's the shadow side coming up. And then the pearl threaded, that we're all connected, right? Even if it's the mother who bites your head off. The feminine who bends over backward, and they were showing me the deer bending over backward. How hard is that? It's backbreaking. So stop it. And then, or you can just be vulnerable, like when you first wake up in the morning. Do you want to be that? Do you want to be the dark mother biting your head off? Right? This is saying the mother prays, but is she praying for you or is she praying on you? The shadow is here. And yet using the spirituality perhaps against you. And I guess that's why they had me bring up my mother. Making it your fault. You know, that's the way, someone who's supposed to be being kind to you or praying for you is actually making it your fault, as opposed to just loving you. That all of these energies are of the same thread. It's all your choice in which perspective you take. The 38 of the Queen of Cups, of just being love. Focusing on the heart space. Being kind and loving and intuitive. That's all it takes. And you're more vulnerable here when you've had your beauty rest. So that's a very interesting message. It's very much about the feminine. And a lot of the watery Lemurian energies are coming up for focus right now. And so I guess forgiveness is that focus today. The bottom of the deck is the Ancient Ones. Again, the feminine receiving the light. Make sure you're fully inner child. You're fully energized with you and your inner child. So check in with them. Make sure they're doing fine. This is also getting some sun and meditating to fill your tank up again. so that you can share it with you and then to your masculine, because it affects you both. Loving all that is, holding space by filling up the tank for both of you. 22 is having an open heart and taking a leap of faith, loving all that is. And then connecting with the ancient ones. Here's the 52 of the Queen of Swords again, the woman of light. Okay, that's the underlying energy. And then again, the different aspects of the female. Right? And this can be just resting and not doing anything else too. This has its negative aspects and its positive aspects. People, if you're getting beauty rest and being lazy, people may see that as being lazy, as opposed to you taking care of yourself. It all depends on your perspective. And don't allow others to make you feel negative about anything you do. Bending over backwards. Are you bending over backwards and hurting yourself because you're doing that for others too much? Or are you bending over backwards to stretch your back and release all the stuck pent-up energies in the dance between the masculine and the feminine here? And are you, again, with the mother, are you praying for them from a positive, intentional place? Or are you praying on them, right? Being that dark mother of wanting control over them. And they're all connected again. And we have the Queen of Cups here too. See a lot of queens here. We've got the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the underlying energy. And then the shadow side, the dance, and the rest, the connection in the 5D. So everything you do, they're saying, reflects to your divine masculine. So every perspective you take, you reflect back to them. And this is focused as a message to the divine feminine. Okay, I want to do a Lenormand deck card too, just because I'm not that familiar with the definitions yet, so it'll give me a chance to look up the definition. And I still need to read you the bat at least too. So from the Lenormand deck, the snake, and again that's the enemy, and the shark and the crocodile came up in the underlying energy. So the 7 is the chariot energy, and we have the Queen of Wands down here. So the Queen of Wands is coming up as the enemy, and there's the woman there with the flower. And I'll read those to you as well. There's a bridge. There's a bridge and the sun after that. I don't know if that's what they're called, but it's there's no specific card for the bridge. It's number 38, which is the Queen of Cups, and then the sun is the Ace of Diamonds or the Ace of Pentacles. I'm getting like not the term the shoe-in, but this like that energy. Like the Ace of Pentacles is the ace in a hole, I guess. The Queen of Cups. So here, the Queen of Wands is coming up as the enemy. And this is the War of the Roses. There you go. But I'm going to read these two for you. And the underlying energy is the key. So I'm going to read those for you from there, and just the bat from the animal deck. All right, so the bat, who is air. And the bat's darkness, letting go, and death leading to rebirth. Before emerging, the bat waits for the sun to set and the moon to rise. In the darkness, it can see all that was visible in the daylight hours. The bat is a master of the subtle senses, of underlying forces that cause some things to prosper and other things to fade, and then thus why the little mouse there of the bat is so afraid, because they can feel all of the other people's emotions, just like the empath. The bat card shows, The bat card shows up to signify the ending of a chapter, the closing of a door, which my inner child was showing this morning. The bat comes swiftly, encouraging us to move on. In just a few hours, a new day dawns. No more lingering in the past. Forgiveness. They don't say forgiveness. I'm saying forgiveness. When in balance, the bat accepts, adapts, and adjusts. When they're out of balance, they refuse to let go and reminisce. To bring into balance, watch the sunrise. And the sun came up with the Queen of Cups. So maybe you're going to watch the sunrise, the Queen of Cups, and the masculine. And then we have the Queen of Wands is coming up as the enemy here. That doesn't mean all fire signs are the enemy. In the twin flame read, the Queen of Wands tends to be the antagonist and the Queen of Cups tends to be the protagonist. So let's see how that plays out. Let's see what the Lenormand deck says. All right, so the underlying energy was the key, which is 33. And 33 says the key. Discoveries and solutions are my forte. You will find me in synchronicities, signs, and fate. When I land close to you, know that you have the means and the answers to what is troubling you. Look to my right, I point to what is highly important or what needs to be solved, which are the cards that then come out. Well, actually, to their right, because the cards are facing you, would be actually my left. So that would be my right. Or my left, rather. I point to what is highly important, what needs to be solved on their right, which is my left, which there's nothing there because this is the underlying energy. The solution to the problem can be found by being in possession of the key card. It both unlocks and secures, depending on which way it is turned. The answer is within your reach. This is a card of liberation, although it can also be a tool of captivity. The gilded bird cage of the Reverie speaks of a bird palace which can become a prison. Inside is a rose. Oh, isn't that telling? Because the woman's holding a rose. Inside is a rose symbolizing mystery, a mystery that unfolds as the key unlocks it. It is also, of course, a symbol of love, the most common of all mysteries, the key. The card can influence many things. Next to the heart, or number 24, it can unlock feelings and be the key to your heart. Next to the book, it can unlock knowledge, and so on. It's a card that offers many opportunities and new beginnings. So it's unlocking the snake and this queen. The snake is coming up as the Queen of Wands, but this actually could be the Queen of Swords because that's the a spade over here. So the snake could be the Queen of Swords because that's what's coming up down here, and then she could actually be the Queen of Spades or the Queen of Swords, and she doesn't seem intimidated by them. So let's see what number 7 says about the snake, because I know that's the enemy. Let's see, that you're supposed to be aware. All right, so the snake. Watch out for me because I'm always hiding. You can never trust me or believe me. I am cheating, deceiving, and will betray you in a heartbeat. Be careful where you are treading. My fangs will surely have you dreading. The game of hope makes it clear to stay safe from the bite of this dangerous snake. Be afraid, very afraid, as betrayal may very well be in the cards where this card lies. Watch out for superficial person, one who is prone to be malicious, particularly when combined with the dog card, quite literally a bitchy best friend, meaning you harm. Let's just say here that duplicitous behavior and two-faced person could be a problem. The card warns you to be wary and watch where you tread. But the Queen of Swords, or this woman next to the snake, doesn't seem intimidated by the snake. She's very much in her truth. Our snake here in the apple tree also alludes to the Garden of Eden, the original breakup of the happy relationship we saw in the earlier cards, such as the house. The Lenormand cards are firmly rooted in Christian tradition, such as the cross and even the park, and is seen in the original game as a biblical place. So be wary and look to the cards around the snake to see what is the nature of evil in your situation. So the snake is definitely connected to the key and the woman here. And she's number 29. And I think she's woman number 1. Or lady. So lady number 1 has the rose. I could be you, the reader, or the female subject of your reading, or female partner of the significator. All right, so that could be you or their partner, and perhaps the divine masculine's coming up as the snake, or somebody else in your environment. The significator for the female sitter, or the significant other of a male sitter, or the same gender relationship. A woman looks up from her book. Her thoughts are wandering. There is a commonality of ambiance and mood that connects this woman and this card to its male counterpart. All right, so it's very much talking about the male, and she's looking right at the snake. The red rose provides an additional point of connection that binds them. And there the binder comes up again. It is a token, a gift, something given and received, something shared. It could be you. Oh, that's the lady too. And that's all it says about the lady. It's the mood that connects this woman to this card to the male counterpart. The red rose provides additional point of connection that binds them. It is a token, a gift, something given and received, something shared. But can you trust them? But it's like, here's the underlying energy is the key. And the key was saying that you have the answer. And then here's the two coming up of the female or the lady and her male counterpart. So can you trust them? Is this the divine feminine with her current relationship? Or is this the feminine with her twin? Is this the feminine with your child who may be a son? Is this any man around you? This could be a father as well, who's the enemy. But there is a loving relationship here. But are they using you? You have the key. And also, this could be how they're acting towards you, but they're wearing a mask to fend you off when you have the key and you know that they're lying. That could be that as well. Look at that. She's very confident. Okay, you can be that way. I know the truth, but you can be that way if you like. They know the truth too. Very interesting the way that came up. Oh, look what's underneath the key. The ring. Okay, so this is the energy that's coming up here. All right, so this could be someone who's married, and you have the key. This could be the marriage of a masculine and a feminine. It can be a feminine and a masculine as well. Or rather, feminine and masculine. It could be the divine feminine and masculine, or the divine masculine and his feminine. Or it could be the divine masculine and the divine feminine if they're fighting. But again, the War of the Roses is coming up in this read. And that has to do with a karmic relationship. And there could be a key to the house involved, the key to the contract, the partnership, the ring. Okay, so however that comes off for you, it's definitely coming up like the War of the Roses. And the marriage and the key, this is the house, like the house and the ring, the key to the house and the ring, the marriage. And then somebody's pissed off. All right, so there's definitely a War of the Roses here. Okay, I did read the bat to you, right? So I can't even remember if I read the bat. I did read the bat. Okay. So I hope you liked that. I hope that was helpful for you. Make sure you drink your water, get your rest, get your joy in your nature, and rise and be loved. Bye.